So I'm Foster Miller. I'm a director of the AFDCS. I'm chair of the membership department, which is probably one of the reasons why I know where many of you live. I'm also chair of the sales department and the AmeriCover / Great American Stamp Show chair. My one sentence introduction is I'm collecting first day covers since 1964. When I watched a children's TV show at 10 years old, said how you can send into the postmaster in New York City, get a first day cover for the American music stamp. That was October 15th, 1964. And I've been collecting first day covers ever since. The subject tonight is first day covers, event covers from the Iowa Mann. I'll start by answering the question I usually get, why do I collect Iowa Mann? Well, about 4 or 5 years ago, there was something, I don't know if it was on Facebook or another social media, about a cover from the Iowa Mann. I'm drawing a blank on what it was that I got my interest. They did a event cover when Stephen Hawking, the famous physicist and who regularly appeared on Big Bang Theory TV show, passed away, and somebody posted an image of it and the link to the Iowa Mann website. I discovered a couple of things. First of all, they had a user-friendly website. Second of all, they took PayPal and payment, so it was very easy to order. And third of all, that unlike many foreign countries I've ordered from, they didn't charge for shipping and handling. I got to show a screen here. Back if you wanted to do a virus scan in the middle of the presentation. And the other benefit is that anytime you order from them and you spend 30 pounds or more, they send you a free gift. So it's very friendly philatelic bureau, easy to order. I've been ordering from them ever since. And buying covers on eBay and Hip Stamp, Del Camp, wherever I can find them, and have a lot more than you'll see tonight. Eventually I'll scan them all, but never seems to work that way. So where is the Iowa Mann? Well, if you read my original email that I sent out, it's wrong. It's not one of the Channel Islands. I sending out the email last Sunday night. I was thinking of the catalog from Stanley Gibbons that's Channel Islands and the Iowa Mann. No, the Iowa Mann is not Channel Island. Channel Islands are mainly Jersey and Guernsey. The Iowa Mann is in the Ireland Sea, off the coast of England. Here's some from the Wikipedia page from it. Has a population of about 83,000. Actually, I think the latest one's at 84,000. Probably smaller than many of the counties you live in. Some of its leading industries are offshore gambling, telecommunications, and I would say also insurance. And they also make a lot of money from selling stamps and coins. Probably their two most famous items are the annual Tourist Trophy motorcycle race. You'll see several covers for it, and their Manx cats. Manx cats do not have tails, and you'll see a few of them on their stamps. They do have their own language, Manx language, but they mainly speak English. That they are protected by the Great Britain. Their head of state is Queen Elizabeth II. And I'll just go on to show a little bit more of it. One nice thing about collecting is that once people find out what you're interested in, they walk up to you at stamp shows and hand you things. At one of the, I think it was Southeast Stamp Expo this year, Rick Gibson handed me two picture postcards from the Iowa Mann. Douglas is the capital of Iowa Mann, and this is a picture postcard from the Iowa Mann, showing the bay with a couple of steamships in there and various other scenes. There was the there was the other side of the postcard for somebody visiting there. In 1965, when this is from, the Isle of Man still used their own stamps. You'll see their postal independence a little bit further on. And this is another postcard of the Isle of Man. See a castle, there, the beach, again, the cruise ships there. Again, still 1967. The postmarked in Douglas, and somebody visiting there with a nice little pictorial slogan. Again, up until 1973, they used their British stamps. British had a regional definitives for each, for Jersey, Guernsey, Isle of Man, and this is one. I don't have a lot of first day covers from that era, but this is one for their 1969 definitives, again showing the Queen. Phil Art was what is and may still be an English London-based firm that produced a lot of first day covers. The key day in Isle of Man postal history is July 5th, 1973. And that is the day that they became postally independent and issued their own stamps. They issued, if I remember right, 14 stamps, ranging starting from halfpence up to a pound. These are the 4 low value, showing various scenes in the Isle of Man. Many of their stamps do show scenes from the island. The 1.5 pence stamp shows Snowfell, which is the highest point, top of the mountain on the Isle of Man, about elevation about 2,200 feet. And this is a privately produced first day cover. There are the next 4 values of the set. Again, scenes from the island. The upper right is the promenade at the Douglas Airport. Lower left is ports there on their ports. There are the next 4 values, again showing scenes from the island. And these are the 4 high values, so 16 altogether. The 10 pence one there again shows the Manx cats, tailless cats. 20 pence, a ram native to the island, seabirds, and 50 pence, and a older sailing ship under 1 pound. So new postal administration issued 16 definitives. There are a number of first day covers in the issue. Here's another set with the 6 low values. This one nicely shows a map of the island. Douglas right here is the capital. Right off the coast is the island called the Calf of Man, and Snowfell is the highest point. From the same cachet maker, the next 6 values in the set, and the 4 high values. Another cachet for the issue. I'm not sure who made this. These are the 4 high values. I like the cachet because it shows the various ways you can get to the Isle of Man. You can fly from it various places. You could fly in from England or Wales, Northern Ireland, Scotland. This is the Isle of Man here. You can also take at the time a boat in from Dublin, Ireland. I'm not sure where the other boats are coming from, but I like the cachet because it tells you a little bit more about the island. And here's an interesting uncached cover, but it has all 16 of the definitives on it. I presume it was done by a collector on the Isle of Man. It's an oversized manila envelope. 1974. Iowa Man issued, this will not show anywhere near all the stamps they've issued, just the selective ones I have had a chance to scan. 1974, they did a set of 4 stamps for Sir Winston Churchill. And by 1974, the Iowa Man, at that time called Postal Authority, had learned that they could make money selling stamps and selling official first-day covers. They continue to do that today, but these are 4 stamps from the centenary of the birth of Winston Churchill. They were in a souvenir sheet that sold for 36 pence. And starting even back then, they included stuffer cards with all their issues. They still do that today. I really like their stuffer cards because they really provide lots of information about the stamps. Points out that Sir Winston Churchill never visited the Isle of Man, but he had a lot to do with it. There's the back of the stuffer card, has the stamp designer, the printer, how they were printed, and information on it. They're very useful if you want to know more about the stamp. The people on the stamps, some of the subjects were obscure to me, and I love their stuffer cards. And this cover, that cover is out of order, as I notice here. So we'll go back to 1973. Great Britain and other areas, what we call postage due, they call it to pay. So these are their first 8 postage due stamps. I have a number of covers, Cotswold covers. They were in London. They made, I guess it probably made English first-day cover, Great Britain first-day covers as well, but they also made them for the Isle of Man. So these are the first 8 postage due stamps. Going back again to 1974. This is the 1974 historical issue. Shows various events in the Isle of Man going back on the 1974. As I'm looking at this, the 1000th millennium of King Magnus Haraldsson and the 600th anniversary of Bishop Russell, various people associated with the Isle of Man, and was mailed to a collector in the United States. 1975, they reissued the postage due stamps. This is the official first-day cover. Not sure why in 3 years they needed more of them, but they did. When postage rate increases, just like in the United States, postage rates went up today. Well, when they went up in Britain and the Isle of Man, they issued new definitives. So these are 2 definitives issued 1975, showing more scenes of the island. Again, the official post office first-day cover. The insert tells what they show, where they are, the technical details of all the stamps. Isle of Man every year issues Christmas stamps, and you'll see a number of them. In 1976, they only issued 4 of them. Some of the recent covers have more. And in 1976, they tied in with the Church of Saint Tane, I guess we pronounced, and the centenary of Mothers Union at that church. And they have various icons from the church. 1977, they joined with other countries in Europe and issuing Europa stamps, which they still do today. You'll see the CEPT Europa logo on them. They issued 2 stamps, a lot larger size, showing various scenes from the island. 1978 was the 25th anniversary of coronation of Queen Elizabeth. And this is their official first-day cover for it. I kind of like this one because it was addressed to somebody in Maryland where I live. I bought it from a seller on Del Camp in England. So I went to the US and then back to England, I guess. And this is another first day cover of the issue. This is a Fleetwood cover, a Fleetwood Westminster Collector Society. Fleetwood did not regularly issue covers for the Isle of Man, but when they did multi-country omnibus issues, they did a few of them for the Isle of Man. I just picked this one up recently, and the back does identify it as a Fleetwood cover. So something else for Fleetwood collectors out there. Another one, 1978 Europa, all 6 stamps. This is a privately produced first day cover. Saying in 1978, they issued a single stamp for the Commonwealth Games, which is the British equivalent of the Olympics. They'll be held, I think it's later this month. Not sure where they are this year, but 1978, they're in Edmonton, Alberta, and the Isle of Man did send some people to it. And this is their 7p stamp for it. On the same day, they issued a stamp for the North American Manx Association. Apparently, the largest collection of people have emigrated from Manx is in Cleveland. And there's a North American Association of people who formerly lived in the Isle of Man. This cover is addressed to someone in Toronto, probably fairly close to where Derwin Mack lives. And there is the insert that tells you about the North American Manx Association and how people come back from the US and North America to visit Isle of Man periodically. And of course, the technical details. Single Christmas stamp from 1978. And I should redo this scan in a slightly smaller image, but they do Christmas stamps every year. They're always very nicely designed. This one was interesting to me because it's a Colorado cachet. And as I've learned from Mark and some Mark Arab and some Colorado collectors, Colorado apparently produced silk cachets for the Isle of Man for about 10 years. I think it was 1978 to 1987, maybe. And if you read the current issue of First Days, I have a one ad in there to get more of them. Anybody is a Colorado collector with duplicates from the Isle of Man, I'm definitely interested in them. I did recently pick up a lot of 28 of them. I haven't scanned yet. But this one shows an insect, and for the National History and Antiquarian Society of the Isle of Man. And it's the earliest Colorado that I have, though there are other ones out there which I haven't got a chance to either buy or scan yet. The 1979 Europa stamps. I believe the theme must have been mail delivery people. Not sure who produced the cachet, but this is not the post office cachet, and it picks one of their early stamps. There's I guess, there's another Colorado silk for the one of the mailman stamps. Apparently, when Colorado did them, they did different cachets for each of the stamps. 1979, one of, and you'll see another one later on with the same theme. Captain John Quilliam from the Isle of Man captained the HMS Victory at the Battle of Trafalgar, and there are 4 stamps. And again, this is their official first day cover, showing the famous Battle of Trafalgar from 1805. And the stuffer card tells a lot more about it and the history of this person and what sea battles he was involved in. 1980, a stamp for Thomas Edward Brown, a poet and scholar from the Isle of Man. Again, somebody that I'd never heard of, but it was the 150th anniversary of his birth. And if you look at the date, the 140th anniversary of the penny black and the first postage stamp. Here's the card telling who he was. It's a reverend, born 1830, and it gives a nice little biography of him. Example at the bottom of his poetry. And they give a lot of good information on their stamps. They all have a stuffer card on the official covers, and you can learn quite a bit from them. This is one of my favorite covers. I don't know who produced it. These stamps came from a souvenir sheet that the Isle of Man issued for the London 1980 International Stamp Show. And they show ships that steam packet ships that serve the Isle of Man. This cover has each of the stamps out of the souvenir sheet. And just an interesting little item, the cachet is a sticker. And I believe this is the person who prepared it. Also at the the Oslo International Show, a month later, they issued a souvenir sheet showing links to the Isle of Man in Norway. And this is this is an RPS cover. And then 1981, another Colorado cachet showing, and this is actually, I believe, an event cover for the centenary of St. Paul's Church. Those are the definitives from 1973. So this is actually an event cover that Colorado did. But a nice pictorial cancel, nice concordance with the Colorado cachet. Postage rates everywhere going up. 1981, they needed a 2-pound stamp, a portrait of a still fairly young Queen Elizabeth. It's found necessary for postal purposes to increase the range, or there's usually more stamps at higher values. We do the same here. 1982 Christmas stamps. Only 2 stamps then, but one showing the 3 wise men, one showing a snow scene, and again, nicely designed. So their Christmas stamps generally are reasonably simple designs, and you don't have to be do a lot of analysis to figure out what they're showing. Again, the stuffer card, 8 pence shows the 3 wise men, 11 pence Christmas scene with a traditional robin. Another Colorado silk, 1983, for the 150th anniversary of King William's College on the island. This is an interesting item I picked up again on Del Camp from a seller in Europe. It's a commemorative postcard that the Isle of Man Post Office produced for an international thematic stamp collecting show in Basel, Switzerland, called Timbal 1983. And the Stanley Gibbons catalog that I'll show later on actually lists this as something that one can collect. But it's a souvenir postcard with valid postage issued available at the show in Switzerland. And there's the back of it. It's the second Isle of Man pre-stamped card. I don't have a first day cover yet of the first one, but it'll turn up at some point. 1986 Christmas stamps was also the International Year of the Peace. And this cover, which I just scanned today, discovered has at one point must have been stuck to something because it does have a gum print there. But the theme of this one on the left and right stamps are peace, showing peace in various ways. This stamp is for the blind. You notice the cover has Braille on it, and here is the deaf, and it's showing the sign language. It's also marking the anniversary of the Iowa Mann Blind Welfare Society. So they really tied multiple themes into one what could be just a not normal Christmas cover. There's some of the background. The Braille stamp spells out peace and goodwill in Braille, and the deaf stamp, as we'd say, hearing impaired today, they're signing the word peace. And here's the Colorado first day cover for the middle of the three stamps. 1987 Christmas stamps. Three Victorian images and a very nice cachet showing a Victorian family around the Christmas tree. One thing you'll note, by 1987, they've changed the name from Postal Authority to Iowa Mann Post Office. And again, here's the stuffer card. Low value is stirring the Christmas pudding. Birds are famous for having their figgy puddings at Christmas. 15 pence bringing home the Christmas tree and decorating the tree. Skip to 1994. They've now gone issuing a 5-pound stamp. And for protection, it has a hologram on it. 21st anniversary of their postal authority. And both the stamp and the hologram, both the stamp and the cachet are holograms. I was really surprised how well this one scanned. I didn't expect it to come across well, but it did. Now I'm going to hop into a couple of covers that fit in multiple of my collections. I've been accumulating a lot of Hideaki Nakano covers. You're going Great American Stamp Show. I'll be giving my presentation there. It's now I can now say it's been internationally presented because I gave it a CAPEX last month. But the late Hideaki Nakano from Detroit went to 1996 CAPEX show. And he produced a lot of multi-cancel first day covers. I was able to pick a bunch of these up from Carl Swain's eBay store a few months ago. This one starts out with a set of 5 stamps showing postal vehicles from Bermuda, also the Bermuda rubber stamp from the cachet, a souvenir sheet from Kiribati in the Pacific, formerly the Gilbert and Ellis Islands. I don't know if they actually have a train there, that train or not. The US stamp issued at the show, prehistoric animals, but what got my interest was the souvenir sheet from the Iowa Mann, showing the Iowa Mann cat. And it has the postmark from the show postmark from the Iowa Mann from CAPEX 1996. And here's another of his covers. This is the official first day cover from the souvenir sheet. He added the US stamp with a saber-toothed tiger, and Canada Post at that show issued stamps showing postal vehicles, so he added that one as well. In addition to the souvenir sheet, the Iowa Mann issued 5 individual stamps, again showing the tailless cats. They also issued a coin cover, which they've done a number of over the years. This is apparently number 9. You see the coin there, the Iowa Mann official first day cover with their cancel from Douglas, and the US prehistoric animals stamp from the show with the first day bullseye cancel. At the same time, or just before the show, they also issued a set of 4 stamps showing poppies and the Royal Legion and the annual poppy appeal, which in the US is done on Memorial Day. And Hideaki Nakano added the stamp that came out just before that, showing George O'Keeffe's painting of a poppy, with his HN perfect on it. And again, the Canadian postal vehicle stamp issued at the at CAPEX along with the cachet for Capex. So this fits into my collections. If you see the Hideaki Nakano PowerPoint, you'll see this one again. One more dual or triple canceled Hideaki Nakano, 1996, stamps for the 50th anniversary of UNICEF, United Nations Children's Emergency Fund, if I remember right. I can remember when I was in elementary school trick-or-treating for UNICEF. But he added the US Christmas stamp from that year, again, with his perfin, and the Canadian Christmas stamp, canceled in Windsor, Ontario, right across the Ambassador Bridge from where he lived in Detroit. And this one does have the stuffer card. The 4 stamps show UNICEF activity in Colombia, Zambia, Afghanistan, and Vietnam. Also Mexico and Sri Lanka. So 6 stamps, not 4. Another one of my favorite sets, 1997, set of 8 stamps showing planes that served the Isle of Man, ranging from a Sopwith to a biplane up to a modern 757. Really nice set of stamps. And all these different planes did fly into the Isle of Man. There's the stuffer card that identifies all the planes, what airlines, etc. And apparently Hideaki Nakano liked that set of stamps also. He did a dual cancel with the US aviation stamps that were issued that year. And again, one of these has his perfin on it. Whenever Nakano put more than one stamp on it, the perfin is almost always on the right-hand stamp. And another Nakano one, I believe Mark Gara may recognize this one because it was just in a lot of covers that I bought from him. In fact, I just mailed him a check to pay for. Mentioned early on that the Isle of Man is famous for an annual motorcycle race called the Tourist Trophy. And this is a set of 5 stamps issued in 1997 for the Tourist Trophy race. And 9 years later, Hideaki Nakano added one of the US motorcycle stamps that was issued in Sturgis at the big motorcycle rally there, and with his perfin. And here is again the stuffer card. Mentions this is the 4th set of stamps they issued for the annual Tourist Trophy motorcycle races. Still staying with Hideaki Nakano. These are the Christmas stamps from 1997. They issued 3 stamps together showing the scene of the wise men and the angels with Mary and Joseph and the Virgin Mary. Very nice simple set of stamps. And he added the 1997 US Christmas stamp, came out at the National Gallery of Art. Pete may have been there. I know I was there. And there's the stuffer card noting that they are Renaissance era paintings. They were designed by Jennifer Toombs, who a very famous British stamp designer, designed a lot of British stamps, probably also a fair number of Isle of Man stamps. Hop forward to 2002, now up to a £3 the stamp showing the Queen Mother, who passed. Actually, I guess this is the memorial stamp when she passed away. Passed away at the age of 102, and her daughter Queen Elizabeth is trying to outlive her, and hopefully will. And then there's Queen Mother, or Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. There's the biography and more information on the stamp. We hop back again to the Tourist Trophy motorcycle races. These are the 2019 stamps they issued, showing these actually honor a group called the Club of 59 that race every year in the Tourist Trophy race. It tells a little bit more about them. There's my favorite stuffer card again. Tells you all about the 59 Club, the motorcycle, the people racing in the annual race. Going back to 2017, the 70th anniversary, platinum anniversary of Queen Elizabeth and the late Prince Philip, showing various scenes. This is from the marriage up into more recent days. A nice, simple set of stamp designs that conveyed the message they wanted to history of Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip. And the back shows their wedding photo with their wedding bouquet. But by this point, almost all their covers have a design on the front and the back. There's the stuffer card. They have gone at this point to frequently having people associated with the stamp issue write the information on the stuffer card. The very last cover I scanned about 7:45 tonight. This is a set of 8 stamps from 2018 for the 100th anniversary of the RAF, or the Royal Air Force, in the Isle of Man. They're very nice, very simple design showing various Royal Air Force aircraft from initial biplane up to modern planes. There's the back of the cover. They issued it one day too early. If it been on the April 2nd, it would have been my birthday. I could have dual canceled it with the U.S. Marvin Gaye stamp that came out that day, but stuffer card has information on the early people from the Isle of Man who served in the RAF. Interesting set of stamps for the age of rebellion. As you look at the modern covers, you'll note postage rates have gone up significantly. 57 pence at that point was the rate within the Isle of Man. That's probably about 75 cents US, up to 1.85 pounds. So the overseas rates are getting expensive. Typically, when I buy a new first day cover, they're now running around 10 pounds. So they make a fair amount of money on their stamps, but I like what they're doing, so I buy them. There's the back of the cover. And if you want to know what their age of rebellion is, it was the Isle of Man in the 17th century. And this tells the history of it. Shows what's on each of the stamps, who designed them, who printed them. And again, good background information for anyone who wants to know about stamps. The Isle of Man, much more than the US, issued a lot of stamps to the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. This is an event cover for Apollo 12, which I probably should have put a little later in the presentation. But it's an event cover showing one of their stamps. And the United States did nothing for Apollo 12. They only did Apollo 11, but here's an event cover for the Apollo 12. And there's the back of it. Alan Bean, Conrad, and Gordon were the other astronauts. A stuffer card telling all about the mission. Isle of Man has issued in recent years a number of stamps showing artwork from the island. Apparently, they have a number of different artist colonies there. This is the Douglas School of Art. and they now gone up to issuing 10 stamps. And like the US, Canada, and many countries, they're issuing their equivalent of forever stamps. The top 5 stamps are first class stamps, and the bottom 5 are for mailing larger envelopes, equivalent of the flat rate, first class flat in the United States. And one of the free gifts I got for spending 30 pounds on one of my orders, was a cover autograph by one of the artists who's shown on the stamps. There's the back of the cover listing the artist shown in the stamps. Stuffer card giving all the background information, and the information on the Douglas School of Art. And this one came with a little addendum card saying, oops, we goofed. Stamps were issued on March 16th, not on March 5th. The postmark is correct. The stuffer card is not. 2020 was when we all learned about this thing called COVID. The Isle of Man was one of the first countries to issue COVID stamps. Proceeds of these stamps did go to COVID relief in the island. I think they were nice, simple designs. The theme of it was hashtag carry us through. So love, faith, care, compassion, work, community, words, and science. The first 4 are first class stamps, again, large parcels. ROW, I've learned, stands for rest of world. So these are international forever stamps. And this is the official first day cover. There's the back of it. The stuffer was actually a brochure, a 4-page brochure, includes the address of Queen Elizabeth to the British Commonwealth on the COVID crisis, and the details of the stamp. Isle of Man also, it has vending machines, and for this one, the 8 stamps were available from the vending machines. And here's the first day cover with the 8 vending machine versions. The covers only have the domestic value of it, which at the time was 62 pence, which I'm guessing is about 80 cents US. This is another one of the Isle of Man coin covers. It shows the Isle of Man 2020 Christmas stamps, a special cancel marking the 40th anniversary of the Cathedral of Mann. Cachet shows the stained glass windows in the cathedral, which are also depicted on the stamps. Again, you'll notice the stamp denominations have gone up quite a bit. The high value is 2.37 pounds, which I'm guessing is about $5 US. So we shouldn't complain when we pay 60 cents for new commemorative, I guess. This is one of their stamp and coin covers. There's the back of it showing the choir at the cathedral, and the back of the coin. And stuffer card that I need to redo at a smaller size. This is another commemorative cover. The cenotaph, I guess is the pronunciation. It is the Isle of Man memorial to those killed at war. Originally built in 1920 for the memory of those who died in World War I. And this is event cover for its centenary, which showing stamped with various earlier 2014 and 2016 stamps from World War I, World War II, I should. World War, yeah, no, they are World War II. And again, one of their coin covers. There's the back of it, tells the history of it. More information on it. And that one came with a certificate of authenticity. 150th anniversary of Charles Dickens, again in 2020. We probably all read the Christmas Carol, Tale of Two Cities, and some of his other works. They issued 6 stamps showing, 5 of which show Victorian era drawings associated with his books, and the 2.47 pound souvenir sheet shows the lost portrait of Charles Dickens, which is actually explained later on. Stamp was issued in conjunction with the Dickens Museum. And there's the information on the lost portrait, rediscovered and depicted on the souvenir sheet. There's more information. Painting was lost for 130 years and found in South Africa. So just like Henry finding a new cover from New Mexico or a dealer in North Dakota, you can find things anywhere. Now we'll go back a little bit to the moon landing. This is an event cover for Apollo 14. Charles Duke, one of the astronauts, was originally going to be one of the Project Mercury astronauts. They found he had a heart murmur and they would not let him fly. He's known for flying on Apollo 14, but everyone who remembers Apollo 11 knows his voice. He was the capsule communicator. He was the one who said, "Roger, tranquility, we copy you on the ground." And to be honest, until this came out, I never realized that's who it was. Apparently, Charles Duke is a friend of Chris Cowley. And when after the APS show in 2019 in Mesa, Arizona, when the museum in Scottsdale opened an exhibit of Paul Cowley, his father's art, Charles Duke was there, and courtesy Chris actually got to meet him. There's the back of, and it is autographed by him. There's the back of the cover. Again, the nice certificate of authenticity. And the picture of him along with the guy who designed the stamp. And it came in a nice glossy photo folder. What more of their Christmas stamps? See, this should be 2019. Definitely need to go through this and put the covers in order. But the theme for 2019 was Christmas cards. Again, the top 5 are for the first class rate, and the bottom 5 are for large packets. Nicely done set Christmas stamps and cards. They're very conveniently also the 100th anniversary of the Greeting Card Association in Great Britain. Yes, like the USPS, they can have a tie-in with an organization, they will. There's the Sephora card showing modern Christmas cards. And again, the ATM versions of them. They're all the first day cover only has them at the domestic rate. Another event cover for the 75th anniversary of D-Day. Something else the Postal Service forgot about in this country. And it is autographed at bottom by a medal by someone who fought in the battle for the Isle of Man and was, I guess it'll be their equivalent to Medal of Honor. And he was 100 years old on the anniversary, 70th anniversary of D-Day, and these are his remembrance of it. Picture of him during D-Day and on the 75th anniversary, which will be 2019. More about them. Some of their topics are more obscure, but having my undergraduate degree in engineering, eminent Victorian engineers was an interesting subject, even though I never heard of any of these people. But they found 6 of them from the Isle of Man and put them on stamps, and people learned who they were. There's the back of the cover, and the stuffer card tells you who these people are. O Land of Our Birth is the official national anthem of the Isle of Man. And they did 12 stamps showing scenes from the Isle of Man with that theme. Modern photos, and the nice, various, very different images showing the Isle, and back of the cover has the words to their national anthem. The stuffer card shows where each of the pictures are, and short blurbs from the photographers. Technical details and a map showing where each of the photos were taken. One problem when it came out, I thought to be the first stamp issued anywhere showing watchmakers. I posted this on the ATA Facebook page and got a reply from somebody who does collect watchmakers, watches and watchmakers on stamps. So it is not the first watchmaker on stamps anywhere. But it shows 6 stamps showing watchmakers from the Isle of Man. Again, we're up to 2.37 pounds. Back in the cover. And if you want to know who these watchmakers are, there's the stuffer card. I mentioned earlier, Snaffell is the highest mountain on the Isle of Man. You want to get to the top of it, you ride a tram up to it. And these are 3 stamps showing from the set, showing the trains going up to the top of the mountain. And this is actually an event cover for the 125th anniversary of the first tram going up to it. And this cover was carried on a train up to the summit. When I gave this first presentation to the Reese chapter in Southern California, Dave Bennett pointed out that the highest mountain in Iceland is also named Snaffell, and somebody quickly Googled it and stands for High Mountain. There's the person who designed the cover and some pictures of it. This is the stuffer card. We'll go back to the moon landing again. This is the Apollo 11 event cover for the actual moon landing date. We'll hop back to the Queen, one of the popular subjects. This is her 95th birthday. And the theme was dedicated to your service. Again, showing photographs of Queen Elizabeth II, starting at very young up until a more recent one. Even one of her taking photographs. This one came out in 2021. Has a picture, probably one of the last pictures of her and Prince Philip. But one thing if you buy their covers, you get an annual Christmas card from the Isle of Man post office. And this was one of theirs. Again, it shows the 12 stamps showing their national anthem. And the inside is signed by all the people working the Isle of Man, stamps and coins. A nice way to thank your customers. I liked it. There's the back of it. This was their Europa's stamps for 2021, which showed the diversity of the Calf of Man. The Calf of Man is an island off the coast of southern Isle of Man. It also marks the 70th anniversary of the Isle of Man National or Manx National Trust. It was the Europa issue for 2021. You have first class stamps the EU stamps are the forever stamps paying the postage rate to the European Union. There's a little bit of, there's the back of the cover and stuffer card telling you all about the Camp of Mann, which it has been designated a UNESCO biosphere. As the Europa issue, they also issued a second cover with the Europa Council, and these two stamps were this stamp, I should say, was their entry into the Europa annual stamp contest. Next up is a number of covers for the London 2020 Euro Soccer Championship, which was postponed until 2021 due to COVID, or technically I should call, since it was in England, since the finals are England, I should call it the football. It's what they call it over there. Isle of Man issued 8 stamps showing the various venues where the preliminary games were held: London, Glasgow, Munich, Copenhagen, Seville, Spain, Rome, St. Petersburg, and Baku. Baku, I believe, is Azerbaijan. So there's the first day cover with all the stamps. This person here is the official mascot of it, and they did, Isle of Man Post Office did license, got the license to do these. Here's the stuffer card. It notes that the Euro 2020 was held in 2021. Identifies the eight host cities for the first round. They didn't stop there though. They did covers for the various games that Britain played in. This is, I believe, that the maybe the quarterfinals played at Wembley Stadium in London. England beat Germany 2-0. They don't say nothing in soccer. The score is 2-0, and those are the people who scored the goals. Harry Kane is probably the most famous soccer player or football player in England. There's more information. I'm sorry, that was the round of 16. So first, they made it. England made it through the first round, and they beat Germany, who's normally a football power, to move on. The stuffer card shows the starting lineups for both teams. In the next round, the round of 8, they played in the quarterfinals. They played the Ukraine and beat them 4-0. Harry Kane scored 2 more goals. There's the details of the match. And again, the uniforms of the players. And here's the cover for the finals. It was England and Italy. Match went to penalty shootouts. Unfortunately for the British and the Isle of Man, Italy won it 3-2 on penalty kicks. Probably one of the most watched sporting events of the year. Probably the most watched sporting events of the year. And there's again the stuffer card with the uniforms of the players. 2021 was also the 2020 Olympics, and the Isle of Man issued 12 more stamps. They definitely are making their money on stamps showing athletes from the Isle of Man who have competed in the Olympics. The one I recognized was the cyclist Mark Cavendish, who participated in the Tour de France that you can watch every day on the USA Network. Watch him up and down mountains on bikes. And again, first class rate in EU pays the rate to the European Union. The back of the cover and the stuffer cards to telling who each of these people are. Yeah, Mark Cavendish was the one I recognized. I like to watch the Tour de France bicycle races, and he did very well there a number of years. from 2021, 6 stamps showing the various motor vehicles from the Isle of Man transport museums, or transport museums of the road. We have motorcycles, buses, a little bit of everything. First class rate, European rate, large package, large flat rate, rest of world, and USA rate. Maybe the first one I've seen with a USA rate forever stamp. Back of the cover explains the various transportation museums in the Isle of Man. We saw John Quinlan early on from the Battle of Trafalgar, and 2021 they did 6 more stamps for him, generally showing 1800s era paintings, as well as stained glass window in his memory. Back of the cover and a biography of him. Also served as ambassador in China. But for Christmas last year, the Isle of Man chose the theme of Thomas the Tank Engine, or Thomas and Friends. But many of us may remember the PBS show in the US, Shining Time Station. First year with Ringo Starr playing Mr. Conductor, and later years with George Carlin playing him. But my nephew, when he was growing up, watched it every single day. Anytime I was visiting, I watched it. I got hooked on it. I turned on PBS every morning before I went to work and watched an episode of it. I always had a good moral at the end of it. But they did 6 stamps showing Thomas the Tank Engine from scenes relating to Isle of Man. And one of the Thomas the Tank Engine movies was filmed in the Isle of Man. First class, European Union, large envelope, rest of the world. European Union large envelope rate. They have a whole bunch of different forever stamps now in US. And I was a big Thomas the Tank Engine fan, so I like this one. And there's Thomas, and another one of the engines on the back of the cover. Stuffer card to tell some of the story, and with the technical details. And again, once again, the ATM or self-service kiosk versions of them. First class rate as of last year, now up to 67 pence, probably approaching 90 cents US. And they also did an event cover, carried on a steam train replica that was used in filming one of the Thomas the Tank Engine movie. And again, there's the postmark for being carried on board. And you might guess they also used that as the theme of their Christmas card last year. Well, here's their Christmas card. Greeting in Manx. I won't try to pronounce it. And again, the signatures of the people who work there and fill my orders. There's the back of it. Queen Elizabeth, celebrated her her platinum jubilee, 70th anniversary as Queen. I believe was actually in March, but the stamps came out in February. Theme being God Save Our Gracious Queen. Picture showing Queen Elizabeth through the years, and the cachet. It is multiple covers from a British magazine called Majesty, which is about the Queen. Back of it shows more covers, magazine covers. The stuffer is mainly about the Majesty magazine and the history of Queen Elizabeth and her family. Last slide. If you do decide to collect Iowa Man and want to know about all their stamps, covers, souvenirs, presentation packs. Also collecting their presentation packs, but that would be another presentation. But this is the catalog you want to buy. Scott does a decent job of listing their stamps in volume 3 with lots of other countries. But APS had a three-part seminar earlier this year from Stanley Gibbons, and one of their catalogs, the Channel Islands and the Isle of Man. And I think it was like $49.99 to get it, plus another $12 pay postage from London. But it's a fabulous resource. It has everything I ever wanted to know. Lists everyone their first day covers, cards, coin covers, and the stamps too. But a great resource. So that's my presentation. I'm going to undo share screen. Anybody? Thank you. Anyone wants to ask questions, comments, feel free to unmute yourself, as long as you're not talking over everybody. Mark Gara points out that the Isle of Man Colorado covers were 1979 to 1987.
I noticed that on one of the, maybe one or two of the aircraft covers, that the cachet showed the aircraft demonstration team, the Red Arrows from the UK.
That's their equivalent of the Blue Angels, or
or the Thunderbirds.
Thunderbird.
Kind of an interesting cachet for
that. They put a lot of work into these covers. They do a good enough job that every time a new one comes out, hop on their website, buy it, spend another 10 pounds or so, and I enjoy it. I like what they're doing.
How many issues do they put out a year?
More than they used to. They're averaging about one or two a month. I'd say they'll probably do 15 to 18 this year. They generally don't do one in December. It depends what themes they can find. They're doing two of them this month, both art themed. And as you see, they've increased the face value of their stamps.
Like everyone else.
Yeah. I mean, the island only has a population of 83,000, and it's good revenue. The county I live in has 150,000 people. That's just one county. Probably Mark, Bergen County, where you live, is what, almost 1 million?
I don't even know. Good question.
But Henry's pointing up more than 1 million.
That's what he's doing.
I don't know that, and they're all stuck in traffic on Route 4 and Route 17. Yes,
they're all approaching the bridge right now. I'm looking at it.
They have my sympathies.
Okay, trivia question. Who's a very famous person, musician from the Isle of Man?
That would be Barry Gibb.
That is correct.
And I'll do some quick show and tell of some of their recent covers I haven't scanned yet. For science fiction people, this is the for the 100th anniversary of the BBC in the Isle of Man. And for Darwin and other people, you notice what's in the top row. That would be a TARDIS for Doctor Who fans. This one just came out last month, I believe, May 19th. So I was close. I didn't get a chance to scan this one yet. This is 12 stamps for the 100th anniversary of the BBC. And since you mentioned it, there is the Barry Gibb autographed cover. Sold at a ridiculously high price, but the money is supposedly going to charity. And that scroll at the bottom is his autograph. I don't know if you can see it or not. But these are 3 of the stamps they issued showing him. And this is the event cover for the Queen's Platinum Jubilee.
Foster, did they have 2 different issues for the Thomas the Tank?
one issue in a regular format and ATM format. And apparently several times I've given this presentation, it's caused people to go out and order their covers. So no, I don't get a commission on it, but yes, Carol, are you another Shining Time Station Thomas the Tank Engine fan? It was a great TV show, good animation, and always a message at the end.
Yep. So that one is the Isle of Man's 2001: Isle of Man 2001 Space Odyssey set, and that's autographed by Keir Dullea, right, who played Dave Bowman. He's the guy who gets to disconnect Hal.
I was just looking for my copy of it, so I'm glad I haven't found it yet.
Yeah, and there's another first day cover, and this one's autographed by Gary Lockwood, who is the fellow who was killed outside the spaceship by Hal. He also gets killed by Captain Kirk in the episode Where No Man Has Gone Before in Star Trek's first season.
I'm just curious, did they charge for their autographs?
Those two guys did charge for their autographs.
Yeah, I kind of thought they might have, but I wasn't sure. Well, it really doesn't make any difference if you had to pay for it or not. It makes a nice memento, and it really adds to the cover. And, you know, both those actors, I don't know, is Lockwood still alive?
Oh yeah, they're both still alive.
Anyway, you know, they haven't made big movies recently, so when they make a celebrity appearance, that's how they do it.
Going back to 2001, there are at least 3 Isle of Man covers for the 50th anniversary. There's one of them. Of course, the TMA, Tycho Magnetic Anomaly, or the Sentinel, is if you go back to the original Arthur Clarke story. And there's the third one. I did find them. Also found another interesting cover here, which goes back to what Mark was mentioning. This is an Isle of Man, another BG set with 2 Hideaki Nakano additions to it.